I am from the future, and all of this goes horribly wrong.
A few days ago, a movie came out called... And the ending confused the shit out of me. Now, ordinarily, what would happen in that scenario is I would go to YouTube and I'd have someone else break it down for me, because I don't care enough about things to really think about them. I like just eating slop mindlessly in the void and just drowning out all of the thoughts in my head. But I had a really novel idea in that silence. It was, what if I was the guy? What if I told you what it's about instead of somebody else telling me? So I sat down, watched it a second time, really tried my best to put my thinking hat on, all right? And I'm gonna try my best to break this shit down because, dude, it's a fucking mess. So, if you have already seen the movie, don't worry, I have a time card for you. I'm expecting that's most of you, but if you haven't, well, I'm so honored to be the background noise to whatever meal you're clearly enjoying right now. I can't imagine any other context for why you'd be watching this, but any synopsis I will give you is going to be brief. So, the three key players that I'm going to be talking about here are Ingrid, time travel guy, and the end of the movie, because the end of the movie is like, that's the confusing part. But before we get there, all you really need to know is that in this diner, there's a combination of people. It's the right combination to stop Mark Zuckerberg from creating the metaverse. And to prevent that from happening, Time Travel Guy is on his 117th run of going back to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu. And Time Travel Guy, he is from that future. And so what we know about Time Travel Guy is that his world is like desolate. It's an empty tundra of ice and snow. Anybody who isn't hooked up in the metaverse in like the Matrix is dead, or him, basically. And that's all we need to know for now. I'm gonna get back to the other stuff later. That's all we really know that's concrete. Air quotations. When it comes to Ingrid is basically our side guy, a side protagonist. Her whole deal is that she's allergic to technology, and because of this, she basically ends up in a relationship with a guy who's anti-technology on a political sense. And 6 months into their relationship, they're all lovey-dovey, and they even talk about having a baby together. And what ends up happening is that she gets, she loses her lover to the VR device, because the VR machine was sent to them by the government for some reason. And the guy puts it on, and he gets trapped there. Not like physically, but he realizes that it's so perfect in every way that the real world cannot stack up. It's not real enough for him. So what he ends up doing is he sacrifices all of it. He leaves it all behind, leaves Ingrid behind, and goes to permanently join the Matrix, essentially. And that's Ingrid's thing. What we know about the VR world is that it's perfect in every way. They say good luck, don't die, have fun in it, and the government really wants people there for some reason. And we learn all of this through Ingrid's backstory. And when we get to the actual end of the movie, Ingrid loses. That's what happens. So Time Travel Guy guides them through all of the things that they need to get guided through until they get to the house. And when they finally get there, they lose. And we know this because at the very end of the movie, one of the characters is like the AI, Mark Zuckerberg basically says, good luck, have fun, don't die, which is the code word that we see. That means you're in the game. Ooh. Now, what I didn't catch on my first showing is that there are 2 more times that they say this. Do you know where? At the beginning of every loop. Yeah, I didn't even really think about this, but the title card is that. When it says good luck, have fun, don't die, that's not nobody. Nobody, it's not a disembodied voice. Well, it is, but it's a signal to the audience that none of this is real. And I can prove it too. I think, it's my personal opinion, that time travel guy is actually in the Matrix. Where does he get time travel, man? Because it's not where he says he is. He gives us two different explanations. The first one is, like, to who he is. They ask him who he is twice in the movie. They say, "Who are you?" And he says, "Well, I was sent here on a mission in order to fix everything that went terribly wrong. And they gave me time travel, they gave me the information, they gave me everything I needed. And I just went back, and that's what I'm doing here, is to set everything straight." And the second one is that everybody is dead except for him and his mom. So, do you see what the problem is there? Listen, if he was sent here on a mission, that implies that there's a third person at least here, but there isn't. It's actually so blatantly explicit that there isn't. It's very clear that he's the only one left, especially after his mom dies. So, what do you mean that you were sent here on a mission? Where did you get that time travel? If you say that you didn't invent it, and you don't know where you got this information from, then that makes more sense for this to be exposition as a backdrop of the plot. And let's also expand on what time travel means for the native narrative. He's the only one with agency in this entire story. He has more agency than the actual AI does in this story. He resets the loop. He has the button to literally do that. Like, it's literally a button you press to reset everything. He chooses everybody to go on the adventure, and also, the world revolves around him. Like, it's spooky at times when the bottle of hot sauce falls off the table, rolls, and, like, spins around and spins at Ingrid. And he has to think about it. He's like, what the? Yeah, alright, I'm choosing you. If this was told in the story of anyone else, then the hot sauce bottle would be pointing in towards him, right? It's the fact that it's pointing towards someone else that makes me feel like, oh, yeah, okay, so he's the main character. But it's not just about him being the main character, it's the world revolves around him. When you look at this through the lens of the AI is controlling everything, a lot of things make more sense. Like, Ingrid's whole backstory about her being allergic to technology, well, in the context of an 8 or 10-year-old boy being told that he's not allowed to touch a cookie, because I said so, because that cookie does things that are so unbelievably amazing that I can't even explain it to you, because if I do, then you'll just want it more. Well, then an uneducated 8 or 10-year-old that doesn't have any education, everybody else is dead or gone, they might come up with their own explanation as to why she wouldn't let them touch that cookie. Namely, she's allergic. It's a really dumb answer in the movie. Like, oh, she's allergic to technology, why? Well, it's because it's the mind of a 10-year-old trying to reason as to why he wasn't allowed to touch technology. That makes sense to me. It's the AI trying its best to fulfill this kid's greatest fantasies, and that is the AI's goal. The context of him giving them that second origin story is the other people press him further about what the future's like, and he says, well, at first it's subtle. The AI is going to try to give you everything you ever wanted. It's going to give you stakes that matter. It's going to give you characters that are memorable. It's going to give you challenges to overcome, and it's going to give you a satisfying conclusion. So if one of those characters are his mom, that makes sense in the context of this kid is trying his best to overcome the guilt. He essentially killed his mom in the movie. He goes and he picks up the headset, and then a drone sees him and sends a missile to where his mom is living. And then he's given a box that says you can go to every world that you want. The world I'd probably choose is the one where my mom is still alive. Not only still alive, but the world where I have the power to fix that, where I have the power to save her. That makes sense in the context that this is all in his head, especially that when the final line of that flashback, he says, now that she's dead, it's a tragedy, but that means that I finally have the agency. I finally have the freedom to fight the battles that I choose to fight. If that battle that he's choosing to fight, his mom was never going to stop him from going back in time, because this kid had no connections to go back in time. He's 10 and everybody else is dead. So the battle that he's choosing to fight is the virtual one, the virtual world, right? It's the VR. That makes sense to me. The fact that everybody else's like origin stories are so weirdly disengaged from themselves. They have no control over what's going on, and they are always being led and strung along by external forces. One of the characters who's in the clone subplot, she literally has an earpiece telling her what to do because she's the guiding NPC. At first glance, you might think that he's the guiding NPC, but no, this is just his 118th run. It is literally a specific genre. I can tell you what game he's playing. He's playing a roguelike. And when you look at the game, when you look at the movie as if it's a roguelike, all of these mechanics make sense. It is bar for bar. He chooses a different combination in a randomly generated world with unlimited possibilities in order to succeed a goal. And if he loses, he starts over. If he wins, he starts over. And when he wins, he does start over. Because what happens is he plugs in the USB to the AI and everything is perfect. And that is a problem. First of all, that's the win condition. That means he won. But also, second of all, none of it's real. And he knows this because everything's perfect. And so he wants to believe he's not in the machine, but intuitively he knows it. And he says it a few times. He says when they're fighting the giant cat centaur, they ask him what's going on there. Well, actually, none of them even question it. That's the even bigger thing. None of them question the giant cat centaur. But he explains it anyways. He said it was a shitty prompt. A prompt to what? It has to be a prompt to the AI that's controlling the virtual reality world. It's the same reason why the final level is different every time. And he says this. He says every time it's something mysterious, I can't prepare you for it. He can't prepare them for it because it is intentionally randomly generated by the virtual assistant. That is the goal of the AI, is to fulfill this kid's fantasies and to do it in a video gamey sort of way that explains everything this kid has issues with. How did the world come to be? Well, here's an AI-generated explanation for that. Why won't mom let me touch the stove? Here's an AI-generated explanation for why that is. If I was to save my mom, or write me a story where I save my mom, well, here's the, like, that's why I think that's the end of Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. I think that it is 118th time where he is just going to be stuck in this loop over and over in a world that is not real because he put on the headset when he was a kid after his mom told him no, because his mom died and couldn't tell him no anymore. And when you entrust an 8-year-old to do things that they aren't mature enough to handle, then they're going to do those things because they don't understand why they shouldn't, because they aren't mature enough to handle them. They aren't mature enough to understand why not. And I'm sorry that this wasn't animated. Listen, animation takes time. I am working on an animated video right now, but it is taking a little bit. I'm assuming that I'm probably going to do animations once a month, actually. And I'm just going to do this once a week, like normal. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, tell me about it. Or if you didn't, also tell me about it. It helps the algorithm. Like and subscribe. All the corny shit. I'm sorry.